Good evening. My name is Patty Baker. Welcome to this community page called Live on Purpose. This page is designed to help people develop the 4 core areas of their life: their emotional health, spiritual health, intellectual health, and physical health. Loving God, loving others, and a little self-love goes a long way in allowing our purpose to unfold before us without having to go searching for a purpose. So living purposeful is what we're about. And we're going to talk tonight on a topic that came in back in February. I know, right? And it is about... It's kind of a sequel. Back in February, I did one based upon a question that came in from a man in Texas. And he said, how do men get respect from women? And so I did a broadcast about that on a Thursday night. And then this flurry of questions came in and topic suggestions about, hey, why don't you do one on women? How do women get respect from men? So here we are tonight kind of doing that sequel. Also, just to let you know, I'm going to post for you as soon as this live video goes recorded. I'm going to post for you that video that I did back in February. So if you want to take a look at that, gentlemen, I hope that it's helpful to you. If you're joining me recorded, I always take a minute to say hello to those who are joining me. And if you are joining recorded, please send me a howdy and hello in the comments. It lets me know you stopped by, and I like to acknowledge that you are here. And if you're joining me live and it's your first time, hello, I see you. However, I will not acknowledge you other than a generic howdy and hello unless you want to make a comment. And if you do, there's a 10-second delay, so keep that in mind. Let me say a quick shout out and then we'll dive into tonight's topic. How can women get respect from men? Hi, Patrick. Hey, can I tell you I love your profile pic? That was such a great time and I enjoyed meeting you. Last fall I did a tour. Basically, whoever wanted to meet with me for a cup of coffee, we could do that. And I met at various places, fast food restaurants and family style restaurants and coffee shops in 6 states, and had a great time meeting all of you. I'm not probably going to do that this fall, but I might do something in the spring. So anyway, just a hello to you, Pat. I'm glad you're here. Oh, my Gidget hair. Well, let me tell you, I've been in, thanks, Charles, for noticing my hair tonight. I gotta tell you, I forgot, I've been out of town all this week in Atlanta at a conference, and on the way out the door from the hotel, I forgot my dryer. So I gotta go and get one tomorrow. So I'm back in town, and this is leftover hair from the gym. So there you go. So thanks for noticing my Gidget hairstyle for tonight. Sunny in the house. Wonderful to see you, sir. And Granddad as well. So I just want to acknowledge you for that and say a quick hello to you. Robbie's in the house tonight. Always good to see you, sir. So thank you for that. And I don't know why, but I just hit a laughing face, and I don't know why I did that. Ed is in the house, and I always appreciate you, sir, and everything that you have to offer in way of the incredible gift of drawing that you have. Kevin Strickland sending you some love out this evening. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Tonight's topic is a sequel from, like, oh my gosh, last February. Hi, Lisa. Hi, beautiful. Always love seeing you. And this sequel is, I'm calling it a sequel. But in February, a question came in from a man in Texas, if you're just now joining. How do men get respect from women? And so I answered that question, and I will put the link in the comments as soon as this goes recorded. So anyway, tonight came out of all of the comments and suggestions from that week. I think it was February 22nd. What about women? So here we are for tonight. What is respect? It's a noun. Patty Google Baker, one of my friends, coined me as years ago. And respect means a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. There's this book called Love and Respect. It's by a man named Emerson Eggerichs, I think. And I haven't read the book in years, but I did back in February give it as a a recommendation if you're looking for a book to read on similar to this topic, and it's called Love and Respect: The Love She Most Desires and the Respect He Desperately Needs. So I'll put the link on here for that too. Lisa says it's a good book, and I think it is too. So if you're interested in that, this topic, the information that I'm giving you tonight is not from that book. This is just stuff I come up with. So the book will have a lot more and different information than what I'm giving to you. So I, as you know, if you follow me for any length of time, love God, love others, and some self-love along the way. And then just some personal development for yourself in 4 core areas of your life: emotional, spiritual, mental or intellectual health, and physical health. And so I believe that in order for women to be respected by men, they need to be working on those 4 core areas in their life. And I want to give you an account of a woman in the Bible. A lot of women like to go to Proverbs 31 and starts in verse 10, talks about a woman of noble character. However, I want to talk about a woman who is single and widowed and how she gained respect. And her name is Ruth. And so I'm just going to give you some backdrop, but I will drop into the comments after this goes recorded on this page the link where you can go and read. I think there's like 4 chapters. A quick read. You can read it in an hour, basically, or read it over the next 4 or 5 days if you'd like. But read all of it in its context. You're just getting the PBV tonight, which is the Patty Baker version. All right. So, Ruth was married to this dude who died. Her mother-in-law's name is Naomi, which means pleasant. And Naomi and her husband are Israelites, but because of the famine in Israel, they moved. And they moved to this territory of Moab. And while they were in Moab, their 2 sons married Moabite women. Now, if you want to know anything about the Moabites, yeah, they didn't really mix real well with the Israelites because they didn't treat them real kindly. The Moabites didn't treat the Israelites real kindly when they came out of Egypt in the mass exodus. And so it was like, hey, we're not intermingling with those people, stay away from them. But here's Amalek's bloodline marrying these Moabs who didn't believe in God. They believed in idols. So that's the deal. But nonetheless, because of the famine, Amalek, he didn't put his head in the sand and say, well, we'll work it out. And he didn't go to like do something or work out of town and leave his family back with the Israelites. What he did was he packed up his family and he moved to Moab. He, his wife, and 2 boys. So the men became of age and married Moabite women. Naomi had 2 sons and 2 daughter-in-laws. Her husband died, her sons died, and now she's a widow, and then these 2 daughter-in-laws. And she said, you know what? I'm going to starve here. Nobody's going to take me in. I'm going to have to go back to my family in Bethlehem. So she packs up what little stuff she's got, and she's heading back in hopes that somebody in the bloodline will take her in and take care of her in her old age. And at that time, I don't know how old is, but she's talking to her daughter-in-law saying, hey, stay here. Okay, don't come with me. Y'all stay with your family and your idols and everything else. I love you. I leave you with a blessing and move on. Because I am destitute. I got nothing. No husband. I had 2 sons. You think with 2 sons at this day and age, I'd be well taken care of. I ain't even got them. And the one daughter-in-law said, I love you. And I want to come with you. And she said, please don't. Go back to your family. And so she did. The other one, Ruth, said, I'm going with you, Mom. And she said, no, you're not. Listen to me. Everybody dead. I can't take care of you and everybody else. Go. Go, go, go. And she said, I ain't going nowhere. Because wherever you go, I go. Whoever your people are, my people are. Whoever your God is my God. Your people are my people. Okay? So wherever you lay your head is where I'm going to lay my head, and wherever you die, that's where I'm going to die. I'm going with you. And the mother-in-law realized, I cannot do anything to dissuade you, so I guess come along. So they go back to Bethlehem, right? And Naomi rolls up, and people are like, hey, is that Naomi? And she's like, don't call me Naomi, which means pleasant. She goes, call me Mara. I'm a bitter woman. I'm a bitter woman. Because look, I'm destitute. Look what God's done to me. So all of this to say, it's barley season, ready for harvesting. Ruth says to Naomi, let me go to the fields and pick up the leftover grain behind anyone in whose eyes I find favor. And Naomi said to her, go ahead, my daughter. Do what you got to do. So Ruth goes to this field. They're living in town now. I don't know, probably with some relatives of Naomi's. And Ruth wastes no time. She goes out walks out into the country, finds a field, talks to the manager or the overseer of the field and says, hey, please let me glean. Just gather what's left over that your harvesters don't pick. I would really appreciate it. And she explained her situation to this overseer, and he said, sure. So who owns the field? This guy who rolls up a little later in the day, and he's out looking and seeing the harvesters out there, the men and the women in the field, and he goes to the manager of the field and he goes, what? Who is that woman? I've not seen her before. And the guy says she is a Moabite who came back from Moab with Naomi. And she said, please let me glean and gather among the sheaves behind the harvesters. And she came into the field, and let me tell you, she remained here from morning until now, except for a short rest that she took in the shelter. Like she's working. Now, Naomi had a relative, okay? And it was on her husband's side. And that man who was standing there owning the field was actually a relative of Naomi's husband's, okay? So his name was Boaz. And that's the guy who owns the field. So Boaz walks on up to Ruth and says, how you doing? And she said, I'm good. And he says, my daughter, right? So my daughter, he's older than her. Listen to me, he says. Don't go and glean in any other field. Come back here, you can glean here. He gives her permission to do that. Don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me. Now watch the field where the men are harvesting and follow along after the women. I have told the men to not lay a hand on you. Now listen, she was probably a beautiful woman, probably a young woman. And during that time, there was probably a lot more going on in the field than you and I could probably even begin to imagine. He protected her. He said, I have told the men not to lay a hand on you. And that also is not just from a sexual overtone, but I don't know how they were working these women in the field. Who knows? Was it more that were they considered servants of the time, slaves of the time? And whenever you are thirsty, he said, go and drink from the water jars that the men have filled. Don't worry. I want you to eat here. I want you to drink here. I know you're not one of my servants, but because you're in my field, I'm protecting you and I want you fed and you're more than welcome to the water that's here. Don't you love that? I'm sharing with you this much of this story, and I'm ad-libbing it and giving you an overview of it and highlighting some points for you because I want to talk to you right now, ladies, about how to gain respect from men. Before I do that, I want to just run back up and see what you all have to say. And a quick howdy and hello for those of you who have joined in. If this is your first time, I will not acknowledge you unless you make a comment. Because I just appreciate your anonymity and hanging out in the back. I hate going to churches and they want all the new people to stand up and say who they are. Really? Stop it. So anyway, if you're hearing in the back, love you. Thanks for being here. Hi, David. Wonderful to see you again tonight. Ed, I'm sorry that the pic froze, but you still heard me. If you want to log out and log back in, that'll work real quick. Hey, Kevin. Wonderful to see you. I hope you're feeling better now that you are hopefully on the upswing and out of the hospital. Hopefully you can get some rest. Hi, Sue. Wonderful to see you tonight. Kevin Strickland, right on it tonight. Just open and close. Absolutely. Yes, my hair is getting longer, isn't it? I haven't been cutting it. So there you go. Just trimming the ends and that's it. Nathan in the house tonight. I love you, sir. Thanks for being here. Ladies, one of the things I want you to see in Ruth is her bravery and her courage to leave her family, to leave everything that she knows, right? She left and went to another clan, to another territory, to another people. That takes a lot of courage because there's no family there of hers to take her in. She's a widow too. And yet she's honoring the husband who is no longer with her. Her husband died. She's a widow. She's honoring her husband's mother by going with her. Even when the mother-in-law was like, don't. Trust me. I don't need the added responsibility and I can't even help myself, much less help you. Go. Go back to your family. You're better off. I love you that much to bless you to go. It's okay. And she said no. It takes a lot of bravery and a lot of courage to do that. When Ruth rolled into town, she went to work. Focused on a purpose. They got to eat. Also, when she went to the field to work, she went to the manager of that field and said, this is my situation. She wasn't asking for work. She wasn't asking to become indentured as a servant or anything like that. She just asked, can I pick up the scraps? To admit where you are in the midst of your circumstances comes with humility. And Ruth had humility in the midst of that. When Boaz came and saw her in the field, saw how beautiful she was, saw that she was a young woman, saw that she was a foreigner, and then realized the story and how he's actually related to the family that she married into, is now protecting her in the field, and he's encouraged her to continue to come back. And he's continuing, and he sees her hard work, and he sees her faithfulness and loyalty to her mother-in-law. Boaz replied to her, well, let me just say this. As he's telling her, hey, stay, eat, drink, stay behind the women. I've told the men to stay away from you, right? This is what she says. This is what Ruth says to him. She bowed down with her face to the ground. She asked him, why have I found such favor in your eyes that you would notice me, a foreigner? And Boaz replied to her, I've been told all about you, right? Because he talked to the manager, the overseer of the field. I've been told all about you, all about what you've done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband. How you left your father and mother and your homeland, and you came to live with a people you didn't know before. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. Boaz wasn't talking about under his wings to take refuge. He was talking about with the Lord's people, the Israelites. Because she's come to take refuge there with God's people. Ruth had an understanding of who God is. She lived in a family that was devoutly committed to God. And so she lived in that household. She wasn't returning to her family and the idols that they worshiped. She knew who God was. And it was out of that that she had a sense of belonging, of purpose, of commitment, of knowing what she was to do in that moment. The right thing, which was to go with her mother-in-law. What you say and what you do, ladies, okay, is all about your reputation. And it will precede you just like it did Ruth. She was a young, beautiful woman. That's obvious because of the protection that was being done by Boaz in the field against the other men. And why he cautioned her about that, why he told the men not to touch her, and why he told her, stay with the women. Glean behind them. He did not compliment her on her womanly features. He acknowledged her work in the field. He didn't compliment her lusciousness. He complimented her loyalty. He didn't compliment her cuerpo. He complimented her character. Notice that he says, the things that he says to her is about her reputation and her character. She responds to that by saying, may I, in humility, may I continue to find favor in your eyes. You have put me at ease. I'm sure the woman's stressed out. How are they going to eat? You have put me at ease. And she's in this field. She doesn't know anybody. She's a foreigner in the land. She just rolled up. She's got to work. She's got to bring home some food. If she's not going to do it, who is? You have put me at ease by speaking kindly to your servant, though I don't even have a standing as one of your servants. In the meantime, Boaz told her this. Come over here, have some bread, dip it in wine vinegar, and when she sat down with the other harvesters, she was treated as the same. And he offered her some roasted grain, and she ate all that she wanted, and she still had some left over. So guess what she did with the leftovers? She bagged it up and took it home to her mother-in-law. And when she got back up to glean after that, Boaz said to the men, let her gather among the sheaves and don't reprimand her. Right? Lay off of her. And then said, even pull out some stalks for her from the bundles and just kind of leave them for her to pick up. And don't rebuke her. Don't correct her. Don't do nothing. Right? We're not going to give her a handout, but we're going to give her a hand up. So Ruth gleaned until the evening. That woman must have been out there just like the harvesters, 12, 15-hour day, sun up to sundown, right? It's in harvest season. And then she went on to thresh the barley. Guess how much she got out of that day? 30 pounds. Now that woman's got to carry 30 pounds back to the city, back to the town. And when she brought back all that she had gathered from that day and what she had left over from what she didn't eat for the meal that the owner, Boaz, provided for the harvesters, Naomi looked at her and was like, where did you glean today? Where did you work? Blessed be the man that took notice of you, Naomi said. And Ruth told her mother-in-law about the one where she was working, and the name of the man is Boaz. And Naomi said, the Lord bless him. He has not stopped showing kindness to the living or to the dead. Because see, not only is Boaz honoring Ruth and her hard work and integrity and character, but she's he's also honoring the family because it is part of his bloodline. Ruth had no idea about this, but Naomi knows who Boaz is, and Boaz knew who Naomi was. Ladies, recognize who you surround yourself with. Who are you surrounding yourself with? I had a pastor friend of mine say one time, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Surround yourself with people of good character and integrity as well. There are so many things that you could glean from this field that I just took you through. But as I wrap up this evening, I want to give you some areas of your life, ladies, where you can begin to develop them out. And I want to just share heart, soul, mind, and strength, these pillars of your life that you can gain the respect from men that you're looking for and maybe you don't have right now. I got to tell you, Ruth, in the midst of her losing her husband, right? Now she's a widow. Her heart was not in her vagina. Okay? Listen to me. I'm being very clear about this. Ladies, we run out of a marriage, we run out of a relationship, we run out of whatever the circumstances, death, and guess what? We're looking for another man. We got to find another man to fill our needs, to fill our emotions, to fill our heart, because we can't live by ourselves. Girlfriend, if that's you, I've been there. I have. I was counting the number of dates I was on. And they were all one and dones. Why? Because I didn't take the time that I needed to seek God and get right in my own heart and heal from the emotion that was happening there, from the loss of that last relationship. Don't do that. You are not emotionally healthy enough to begin to go out there. Ruth wasn't going out to look for a man. Ruth was going out because she had to get her life back together and she needed to get on track. She was focused on the work and the mission at hand. The mission was not to find a man. Get right, get healed, and get some perspective. Figure out who you are after that relationship so that you can come back, right? That setback preps you for a comeback. I had another pastor friend say that to me before too. Your setback just prepares you for your comeback. Take the time that you need to heal, restore, rejuvenate, and understand yourself and who you are now that that relationship has ended. Heart, soul, mind, and strength. Where's your heart? The other thing is that as she's getting her affairs in order, and we see her soul, her spiritual health, she is committed to God. She is committed to seeing who God is, not the idols that she grew up with and was taught to worship, but she understands the true living God. And so she walks that out. And in the midst of her obedience to what is placed before her, hey, it's not the most popular thing to do to take care of your mother-in-law after her husband and both of her sons die, right? The mother-in-law lost her husband and her 2 sons. So for Ruth, that's the most unpopular thing to do. Everybody needs to separate their ways and go find their future. But Ruth felt a sense of obligation to Naomi, and in that honored her husband. And it was out of her determination and steadfastness and courage and bravery that she went ahead into a land as a foreigner she didn't know. And she said, your people are my people. Your God is my God. She acknowledged who God was in her life. This is a great season if you're in the middle of in between relationships. Spend some time with the Lord. And go on YouVersion, YOUversion. It's a Bible app. You can download it on Android, iPhone. You can get it on BibleGateway.com even. You can go out there. You can get YouVersion online on the internet. There are Bible plans out there. You can read the Bible. It's in a variety of translations. Some are easier to read than others. Pick one for yourself and begin to read Ruth. It's a great place to start. Filter that through your own life and allow the Holy Spirit to highlight for you what God wants to speak to you about in this account of Ruth. Spiritual health. That gains respect, ladies. That gains respect. Your heart, your soul, your mind, it's your intellectual health. You cannot make good decisions when your heart and your soul are not right. We need to constantly renew our minds by getting before the Lord in prayer, fasting, reading the Word, meditating on Scripture. If you want to know more about that, I've talked about that maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. Meditation. These are disciplines, spiritual disciplines. And then, like I said, all of the emotional health things and grieving through that relationship breakup. This makes you healthy to make good, sound decisions. It comes with wisdom by seeking wise counsel, physically surrounding yourself with the right we, right? So I'm telling you, there's wisdom in what Ruth did. Naomi was not thinking in her right mind. She said, don't even call me Naomi, call me Mara, because Mara meant bitter. Because she was grieving, she was distraught. She couldn't believe, she didn't know what, she never said, I've forsaken God, that God has forsaken me, I said. She never said that. But what she did say was, I don't know what I'm going to do, but you don't need to be with me. Naomi didn't get the full perspective. Ruth did. Keep in mind that you should seek wise counsel. It's available to you. All you have to do is reach out to a friend who's also focused on their emotional health, spiritual health, intellectual health, and physical health as well. Seek it. God will give it to you. Ask and you'll receive. Knock and the door will open for you. It did for Ruth. Why wouldn't it work for you? It works for me. I can tell you. Heart, soul, mind, and strength. I want to talk about strength from a couple different perspectives. I want to talk about the physical strength. That woman carried 30 pounds back. Do you know that as she began gleaning in the early morning for 12 to 15 hours, by the end of the day she had 30 pounds? I would venture to say she had more in the afternoon than she did in the morning, because when they broke for lunch and before they went back out into the field, he said to the guys, don't touch her and leave a couple out of the bundles for her to pick up. So she probably had more toward the end of the day. She's tired at the end of the day. I'm going to tell you what, that woman had some stamina. She had some endurance. She had some muscle. 30 pounds that woman brought back. And it probably weighed more than that before she had it on the threshing floor. So, focus on your physical health, ladies. What are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you taking into your body? And then what are you doing to build your strength, your stamina, your endurance for your physical health? These are things that you can focus on. When men see that you are taking care of yourself, self-love, they respect that. We're not talking about cellulite. We're not talking about wrinkles. We're not talking about self-esteem. We're not worried about any of that. Ruth wasn't worried about any of that. Boaz didn't see any of that. Nor did the men in the field see any of that. Get that out of your mind. For some of you, you may be thinking right now, because I know as I was preparing this message, it was for me. And I just came this week. I spent several days in Atlanta at a conference with some colleagues and competitors and business partners and in the business industry I'm in. And it's a predominantly male-oriented environment for the business owners. Those that are, in the field as managers and so forth. But for business owners, predominantly a male-driven environment. How do you gain respect with men in the workplace? I want to share a story with you that happened many years ago. I was working for a large national company, and I was in a position where I was vying for the next level of a director in that organization. However, I was passed over, and another lady received the promotion, and I was left in my mind questioning why she got it and I didn't. And I'm not saying I was any better than her, but I'm going to tell you what, my bonuses showed it, my performance reviews showed it. I was achieving at a very high level. Why is it that she got it and I didn't? And the only thing I could think of about that woman is that she showed more cracks and crevices, either because she didn't have clothes on them or her clothes were so tight you could see them. And this went on for me in my mind, although I was happy for her that she got the promotion, but you could just see this attitude of entitlement for her, and it was almost like a shoo-in. And that woman never got bonuses for anything. Like, she was just barely skating by. She was always late. I mean, this was her reputation, and yet she got the promotion. And I thought, you know what? I've done everything that I could do, but maybe it's just my mind. I'm not doing the best I need. And this is about maybe 5 months, 6 months later. I'm in the restroom of the corporate offices. Women's restroom had maybe 5 stalls in it. It was a large company. And this is all of the sales, marketing, workforce, okay? And so I walk into the restroom, and as I'm in the stall, ladies, you know, you can look through the crack and see who comes through the door, right? And I look through and I'm like, oh, there's Laura. And then all of a sudden I saw Laura not go into a stall, but she stayed at the counter, and she yanked up her skirt. She threw up her left foot onto the counter, sprawled out right there in front of the mirror, and reached in her purse and grabbed a razor. I was in shock. Corporate America, hello. Ladies, some of you have seen this happen. Others of you are probably in shock that it even is happening. But let me tell you, this was many, many years ago. So, I allowed her to do her thing. And then she left. And I came out, washed my hands, and went out the door. And I am like, oh my gosh, what just happened? After she trimmed herself up, where's she going? I have no idea. I didn't see her. About 15 minutes later, I have a check that needs signed by the president or the vice president. I go up to the C-level office floor, and I see the executive assistant, and I said, hey, I need the president to sign this check. Is he in his office? And she said, no, he's gone right now. And I said, well, is the vice president here? She says, yes, but Laura's in his office right now, and I don't know how long they'll be. I said, no problem. I'll go ahead and leave the check here. If you could just have him sign it when he's available, and then let me know. I'll run back up and get it. And she said, okay. 2 weeks later, I turned in my resignation notice. The vice president was at one end of the conference table, and the president was at the other end of the conference table, and I sat in the middle. It was a long table. And they wanted to know why I was leaving, because I'm such a great employee. And I said, well, my bonuses and my performance reviews show that. However, I was recently up for this promotion job and I didn't get it. And I just think I'm in the wrong field. God allowed me to see what happened in the bathroom. I received peace from that. I understood that I was not willing to lower my reputation or anything else, integrity, character, for a promotion. Not going to do it. I'm in the wrong field. Now, I took a pay cut. I didn't even know where I was going. I had no idea. I'm just like, I know I can't be here because I've reached the level where I'm going to reach, because in order to get any farther above this, I realize what needs to happen, and I'm not going to do it. Ladies, don't sacrifice your soul for the sake of the salary. Do you hear me? It's not worth it. God blessed me in that moment, not by the promotion. Because let me tell you what, once I saw what was probably going to happen when I got there, I'm thanking God that I didn't do anything to get there. It's not who I am. So ladies, just because you didn't get the promotion, just because you didn't get the protection, just because you didn't get the raise, just because you're going to have to seek God and say, okay, have I done everything that I need to do? Then you hold your integrity, you hold your reputation, you say, that's all that I can do, and you move on. That's it. God will bless you. Do you see what I'm saying to you? I hope that you will work on these areas, ladies. Stand up for who you are in Christ. Know who your God is. Pull your emotional self together. Your heart is here, okay? Your mind is here. Your strength comes from the people who you surround yourself with, and the strength physically that you have to endure, and to have the stamina, and to have the physical capabilities to do what you need to do in the season that you're in. All of these things are important. Ladies, if you want to be respected by men, these are the areas where you can start to do that. Take an inventory of yourself. And let me tell you, that's a tough place to be, because I've been there and I've had to make adjustments. And I'm so grateful that I took the time to do it. If you've got to pull yourself out of the dating pool for right now, if you've got to pull yourself out of a job for right now, if whatever it is that you need to do to shift, to adjust, to work on, getting into the Bible. Maybe you need to stop calling the friends that you're calling all the time for advice. Maybe you need to pick up a couple other friends. Think about what you're thinking about, making wise decisions. Ladies, I encourage you to do that. If this video tonight has been inspirational for you, eye-opening for you, or if you think that someone else might be interested into it, male or female, I ask that you would just please click the share button, and you can share it to your page. It's public. But if it's something more private for the person that you need to send it to, you can also just copy the link and then just put that in a direct message, in an email, in a text message, so that they can come out and take a look at it for themselves at their leisure without everybody on their page knowing about it. Okay? Also, if it's something general that you want your certain people to see, you can also just tag them in the comments too. I love you guys. I really do. I look forward to Thursday night, and I look forward to the topics that you have for me to prepare, because I learn as we're going as well. And I like gleaning in this field with you, as I also am always working. I call it continuous improvement, heart, soul, mind, and strength. And my love for God, my love for you, my love for myself. And I hope that y'all have a wonderful and safe holiday weekend. If you're tuning off tonight, good night. I do want to go back up and say hello to all of you who joined in that I may not had a chance to say hello to. And there is a 10-second delay if you feel like you want to hang out for a second and say it hello. Oh, Michael's here from Virginia. Wonderful to see you. I saw a post from you earlier. I was in Georgia. I'm in South Carolina now. So hello, back to you. David says it's all about character. It applies to us men as well. As a Christian, and I'm reading this because some of you are driving or doing other things, and so you're not watching the comments as they come through, but I think they're important, and so just want to go through those. As a Christian, it is to reflect Jesus Christ. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. At all times, both in public and in private, David said. Thank you for that comment. And I say hello to all of you watching as I see you, as I'm scrolling through. Thanks so much, Sue. Wonderful to see you tonight. Maybe God has better plans for you. Absolutely, he did. I went on to another industry, Robbie, that has been so successful for me, and I'm so glad that God closed that door for me and it allowed me to open up other opportunities in my life. So thank you for that. David says, always stand on truth and your character. Absolutely. I'm so glad that you guys enjoyed the message tonight. And like I said, have a safe and wonderful Labor Day weekend. Good night.